God, who hired these fucking writers for this game? They're so bad.
Ashley.
I'm right here. I thought you were gonna die.
Okay. You did this.
Yeah. Yeah, I did this. Can
Oh, yeah, pat yourself on the back. Doing something as less important as that. Why don't you actually be a good gameplay mechanic for a change, Ashley?
you stand?
The map?
Yeah, I found it. I think it says we can get out if we go this way. Hey, we're a team, right?
Ashley, why are you seeking this kind of approval from him? What are you so insistent on this whole team aspect for? It's so fucking annoying. It's like a type B personality, being so overly needy and the like. Oh, did I do good? This and that, master? Oh, shut up, Ashley. Please shut the fuck up.
Keep this up, I'll be out of a job.
Do you really need this constant reassurance, actually?
So, all of this...
What is the fucking point?
Removing the parasites, this was the week.
Yeah, we're alive. Thanks to him.
Methods for eradicating Las Plagas. There are two ways to eradicate Las Plagas: antigen injection and surgery. If the parasite has not hatched yet, it can be treated by administering antigen directly into the body. Once it has hatched, however, there's not much that can be done besides slow its growth. With surgery, the plaga can be targeted and killed using a certain wavelength of radiation, but this is not without its risks. If the parasite has attached itself to the host's nervous system, the host will experience excruciating pain, and there is no effective anesthesia for this kind of procedure. Gee, you think? I'm just amazed her body didn't collapse from all that pain, given that it's a very timid, just very fragile body she has. That isn't exactly as well developed as Leon's, even though Leon's body is fucking shit in this game. Because it's clear he hasn't been developing at all. As the characters have constantly reminded him over and over again, he hasn't changed one bit from Resident Evil 2 Remake. As I recall, Leon reached the peak of physical conditioning by the time of Resident Evil 4. But I don't see that at all. He has not reached the peak of physical conditioning in this game. Chris achieved the peak of physical conditioning by the time of Resident Evil 5. At least it expressed itself properly in the gameplay. There's nothing here. Surgical removal carries considerable risks, even before the parasite is fully developed. Once fully grown, however, it is too late. Removing the parasite would kill the host, but considering what will happen to them, death may be a mercy. What do you mean fully grown, though? How big do these parasites get? You know, like the plaga type A's, betas, and the plaga type C's are probably fully grown parasites, so maybe that's what they mean. But even then, like, the amount of convulsion Leon was experiencing when Sadler was in his presence, I mean, isn't that only possible if the parasite is fully grown? And, like, Ashley was overcome by the black liquid, and apparently it did nothing to speed up the propagation of the plaga, so what even was the point in it? Umbrella? Europe Laboratories 6 Dream Team. Yeah, we know Luis was a researcher in this universe. Sadler's Animus. Do not be fooled into thinking that Las Plagas are merely tools for creating powerful bioweapons. And once again, they're not even using the term BOWs. Lame. Their true value lies in their ability to control. No matter how hostile the subject, a single injection can turn anyone into a faithful servant. Who needs spies when you can turn yesterday's enemies into allies? Yeah, but this is all rendered null and void, dude! The fucking connections have been busy developing Evelyn. They've been busy developing the E-type butamycete, and it's a far more effective means of control rather than using this. There's no cure for the E-type butamycete at this point. It only becomes developed weeks after the Not a Hero DLC happened, and in 2017. And why is it talking about it like this? Who needs spies when you can turn yesterday's enemies into today's allies? When the connections are already making a far more superior version of this control mechanism with the mutamycete, not to mention the mutations provided by the mutamycete and the extreme regeneration provided depending on the subject's hay-flick limit. In fact, I honestly wonder if the regenerators can even infinitely divide if the hay-flick limit is a real concept in the Resident Evil games. Surely their regeneration has to reach a limit if you're talking about the hay-flick limit, where cell regeneration just stops, where the DNA runs out. I mean, I don't know exactly how this theoretical limit works, but it's clear it's not a theoretical limit in this game. But at a certain point, the DNA is unable to be replicated. And so it triggers cell apoptosis at a certain point, or it leads to the sloughing, slurry-like effect that we see with Jack in his final boss fight in the End of Zoe DLC, where he's able to turn his body into liquid because the mutamycete is turning his entire body into mush, pretty much. That's why he's able to generate those tentacles, and it's very interesting like that. Like, what is the fucking point in saying this? Now they've completely neglected the lore from Resident Evil 7 and Village. Can you imagine if they incorporated lore from Resident Evil 7 and Village into this? In fact, talking about other control mechanisms, you have the animality virus. The animality virus, I mean, it doesn't exactly preserve the host's intelligence, but based on a specific chemical that's released when a subject is injected with the vaccine virus, like the specific strain of the virus, like there were 3 strains of the animality virus. One lies dormant, the second acts as a trigger to trigger the dormant virus, and the third gives them the option of choosing who is immune. It's a vaccine, pretty much. I mean, there are certain rare cases where the latent virus would activate without the trigger virus, but that was a very effective way of actually using a virus like that to create allies. It cost a lot of money, though, but it was very effective. But apparently these guys are able to act without money. I mean, where are they even getting their funding from? They haven't even explained that. In Resident Evil 6, they were vague about how Neo Umbrella received their funding. But I could understand that if they were getting their funding from the family and the like. Maybe if Carla managed to siphon out funds from the family surreptitiously. It's like that I can understand. But where the hell are the Los Illuminados getting their funding from? I mean, it's clear they have researchers here. But are they getting their funds directly from black market dealers? Or like, were they already getting money from the people here? I mean, they do have sleeper agents in the United States, I believe, at this moment. Like they said in that one file before Sadler's boss fight in Resident Evil 4. And there were surviving members of the Los Illuminados after the events of Resident Evil 4. But that still doesn't explain where they get their funding from. But just to get back on the main tangent, this whole sentence of who needs spies when you can turn yesterday's enemies into today's allies, it's not even that effective anyway, because literally with the first Ganado that we saw, he had red eyes. He was just walking around in a very strange way. You can't hide those physical characteristics very well, unless you're talking about the dominant species Plaga, but even then, Sadler's own Plaga ruined his head. His head had been cut open pretty much. And Krauser just seemed to be the only normal-looking individual so far. Why, though, I have no idea. The story on this game is a fucking mess. Controlling just one insider can bring an entire organization, an entire country to its knees. That's not true. There's no fucking way. I mean, I know someone like Edward Snowden, for instance, when he revealed that the United States was spying on its allies in the real world. Obviously, that had great ramifications and consequences for the future, but in the context of this, that doesn't make sense. Mass production of the superior species has made this possible. We have empowered Sadler. It is clear what he intends to do next. Can you imagine if Sadler had that much control, 6 billion loyal servants at his sole command? There would be no opposition, no war. It's not practical, though. How the fuck can you manufacture that many Plagas in this short amount of time? And we don't even know how the Plagas even managed to infect the villagers initially. When they mined up that amber, did they release a spore form? Did they do anything like that? Like, how did the first Plaga infect Sadler? And we know Sadler manipulated Salazar to release the Plaga, as was indicated in the notes prior, after Salazar's boss fight. But it makes no fucking sense how this would actually work. Not to mention, in Resident Evil Damnation, the dominant Plaga that was created by the Eastern Slav Republic, this new variant, had a huge defect to it in that it would eventually take control of the human host. There is no such thing as control over the Plaga. And even if individuals displayed some remnant of control over the Plaga, they would be driven mad pretty much. This doesn't make any fucking sense. You can't manufacture that many Plagas. There's no fucking way. If you're talking about a fungus, if you're talking about the Mutamycete, then it's different. The Mutamycete makes so much more fucking sense. Not to mention the control mechanisms involved. And the way the subject has to inflict self-inflicted wounds upon themselves to break down the mind's natural barriers against that kind of control. It's a lot more sinister and a lot more painful, and that would definitely lead to a lot more control in the process. Your sense of individuality, your sense of control is diminished when you're that close to death, pretty much. I mean, surely you know what it's like to have like a sickness or something, or feel like you're in the shit right now. I mean, you lose all sense of ego temporarily in that moment until you're eventually cured and the like. You achieve negative emotionality, you achieve this almost neurotic paradox and the like. The control mechanism with the Mutamycete makes a bit more sense with the way it's grounded in the universe of Resident Evil, but this doesn't make any sense at all. Maybe for the first time in history, the world would know peace, but then again, they've already established that this is not canon because they retconned Operation Javier. They changed it up for some bizarre reason. But I know how Sadler and the others have oppressed the people of this island for generations. I know how he treats them. That is no way to live, and because of that, I won't let it happen. So somehow Luis was able to keep all of this a secret from the Ganados. How? At least with Resident Evil 4, it made so much more sense.
Someone had a field day looting the Umbrella Labs.
What do you mean someone? It has to be Luis. This is his lab. He was a former researcher at Umbrella. You learned this. It has to be him, surely. The Amber. The sample, which I've come to call the Amber, was just sitting in the storeroom collecting dust. We used to have ample specimens for experimentation in the past, so it makes sense that this one was overlooked. In fact, the only reason I brought it back to my lab was because of its peculiar shape. After a basic analysis of changed my mind, the Amber possesses a very unique quality. Although small and in a suspended state, it contains the same organ found in the dominant species. Now they're using dominant species, which we've only seen in Sadler himself. So the superior Plaga is different to the dominant species, apparently. Not too sure why they need to develop that idea. When fully developed, the Amber may rival or perhaps even surpass Sadler's power. And what's this about an organ, though? Unfortunately, the Amber was confiscated by Sadler before I could make any further progress in my research. He may be on to me. I need to get my hands on that sample again and escape in order to continue my research elsewhere. It's the only way to counter Sadler. Of course, I don't think I can trust this outside group either, but I've already come this far, and he's referring to Ada's group. Hopefully I can sweet-talk my way out of this one too. I'll have to, for the world's sake. It's interesting how he talks about the whole idea of trust, because we know that Albert Wesker was trying to maintain control of the BOW developments being handled by various different groups. He was keeping track of them. That's why he has detailed notes on the Mutamycete, because we know that his HCF team helped the connections with actually starting the foundations of research into the Mutamycete based on what they discovered in that village area in Romania, which I don't understand. I mean, how the origin of the Mutamycete can come from a parasitic colony, that doesn't make sense. But not ignoring that, Albert Wesker was keeping detailed records of every possible BOW being developed by black market dealers and many different researchers as well. So it's interesting how he talks about the whole idea of trust, because I would honestly see Wesker taking down Sadler as well and taking control of his research as well. But we know that eventually Wesker is going to gain access to the Amber because he has to. And we know Ada's going to betray him. Unless it's portrayed differently for some bizarre reason. What is this? Those are just face masks. Why is this important? Regarding our arrangement from Luis, I've compiled the research data that you wanted. Meet me at the designated time and place. To be clear, you're going to get me the hell out of here if I bring you the goods, right? It's Albert Wesker! I hope you haven't forgotten about the Amber. Without it, the data is worthless. It would be a shame to let your seat go to waste. So do not make me return empty-handed. You still remember the code phrase, I assume? I haven't forgotten, and don't worry about the Amber. I'll figure something out. Think you can pick me up a pack of smokes on the way? Any brand is fine. So he somehow managed to find Wesker. I'm guessing he must have used his old connections at Umbrella to find Wesker. And maybe like Wesker's records indicated he was a person of prominence within the organization, even though Wesker ultimately betrayed Umbrella because he was working for the rival organization. Which, have they even taken the time to explain the rival organization? Like, they're not even going to explain the rival organization in this game. This late into the game, when we're already at the end of the game, they are not going to explain the rival organization whatsoever.
Not the most uncomfortable place I've slept before.
I guess you're referring to your prior missions. That's all the good they did you, Leon. If I can even call you that name. Because you're so out of character.
Sorry.
Like I said, we're a team.
What do you mean, sorry?
You're getting good at that.
Right?
Even Leon sounded unenthusiastic when he said that line, because he knows it's just so unimportant.
You sure you're okay?
Never been better.
Good.
You're not feeling like $1,000,000? Huh. Back here again.
That woman who helped us. Do you think she's alright?
Oh, I'm sure she's fine.
What?
She's not the type to roll over that easy.
Sounds like you know her well.
They're just bringing up Ada out of the blue. I mean, we've been going how long? We haven't heard any mention of Ada in a while. Or actually, no, she did help us against Sadler. Yeah, I mean, but how did she know, though, that Ada was there? She was unconscious the entire time. Why is she mentioning Ada when she was unconscious? How did she know that Ada rescued them? That way's caved in. I guess I shouldn't be surprised by that. There is another way to go. I think this leads to a treasure. It must be that. Oh. What's this? Illuminado's final chapter. Praise be to the holy insects. We have been promised paradise on earth. Man, woman, or child, his love does not discriminate. Beast, fish, or bird, all creatures shall be equally blessed. Praise be to the holy insects. We are the humble servants of God. His wisdom will overcome any mountain. His omnipotence will cross any ocean. The light of heaven dwells in all things. Let our bodies be the seedbed. Praise be to the holy insects. We are the flock and the shepherd guides us. Our prayers will be sung all over the world. They will be heard by all. At last we shall exceed the stars in the sky. Osmond Sadler. 15. Provenance Monolith. MDLIV. Deep beneath the castle grounds, I have found my faith. Oh, behold the divine vestiges left upon this world. It all begins here. Adam Sadler. One has to wonder who their wives were. If this is related to Sadler's family generation. What happened to them? Every single epitaph we've seen of Sadler, they've all been males. There's no females anywhere. You don't think Sadler sleeps with any of the ganado, any of the female ganado, does he? Can they even give birth? Like, what happens if someone's pregnant and they have a plaga inside of them? Does anything happen? I had a feeling. That just looked very weird. Whoa! It's just right on the wall. Okay, I need to increase my brightness. It is so hard to see. There we go. Now I can actually see a bit better. Alright, what's next? Sadler's gonna be a fucking bullet sponge. This is gonna be fucking awful. What do I do?
See how that feels, mate.
Leon, look! Is that...
Ada thinks he's gonna lure me out. Stay here. I won't be long.
Okay.
Jeez, if only you did that more often with every single combat encounter in this game, dude. But no, you take Ashley into the chaos of fighting, and she gets grabbed all the time, she gets downed all the time. You don't leave her in a safe area like you did in the original version of Resident Evil 4. Leon's so retarded in this game, he would have taken Ashley with him to Sadler's final boss fight.
Ada!
What are they doing? You know that doesn't work, guys. You know he's just gonna force the shells out of his body. You need to learn when to shut up, dude. Oh, come on! Oh wow, I'm already dead! This is gonna be so bad. This is gonna be really bad. This is so fucking extreme for Sadler. Why is he this massive? He's so muffled, I can barely even understand what he's saying. I'm just so focused on running right now. Ah, shit. Why the fuck do you care? What? I'm pretty sure I crouch. That's bullshit. Oh. You really think it's that simple, do you? Just so you know, you sound like fucking Hitler. I hope you got friends on the other side. Because no one's gonna miss you here. And Ada's doing absolutely nothing to help. As I expected. She's that useless in this game. Oh, what? He has Navisa Door supporting him? As if we needed fucking ads. Did we really need ads for this fucking fight? What's with those things floating in the air? I wonder if I can use that drop animation to my advantage. That didn't take off any durability on this knife.
Thanks for the sermon, Father. You know, I'm gonna have to ask for forgiveness when this is all over. Because I'm about to kill. You must be taught.
Jesus Christ. That weak spot will not be destroyed. That didn't damage me. It just knocked me over. Come on. I need to grab more shotgun shells. God damn it! And the fucking Navisa Door got me. Where did it even come from? Did it just spawn in when you destroy a weak spot? Come on, I had a feeling you would do that to stop me. This is so fucking bad. Sadler was amazing as the final boss in the original game. But what the fuck is this? He cuts off the arena. Great. As if we didn't have enough problems.
Thanks for the sermon, Father.
He cut off that arena, apparently. That knocks you over, even when it doesn't touch you. What? Oh my god. Oh my god, just fuck this stupid fight. My weapons are so inaccurate, and the only weapon I can really use is the shotgun, which I don't know why I wasn't even using that previously. Just gotta keep my distance, even if I have to deal with the accuracy on this weapon. What? That time he did a vertical attack? Expect disappointment, and you won't be disappointed. That's the mentality I had before I went into this fight. I knew it was gonna be shit. Okay, this isn't working. I need to use the other pistol. Even though it does less damage, because I haven't upgraded it. Here come the fucking Novistadors. And he kills it. Okay. So there is friendly fire for the enemies in this section. Can you drop down, please? You just grabbing yourself, buddy? As soon as I shoot it with the shotgun, it just cancels out the knife prompt. Why? Why can't you stack damage? I knew he was gonna do that. Oh no, 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 no. That was close. I thought he was jumping to do that scripted platform destruction. Wow, how did I avoid that? I'm sure you guys might realize I'm not listening to a single thing he's saying. Oh, great. You're fucking kidding me. Of course I don't have enough ammo for this. I think they're only doing this to give you some kind of way to get ammunition. Oh, come on. He just decided to jump right on top of me. This is so fucking bad. This is so shit. Come on. Why can't he roll out of the way of that attack? That looks like an attack that you should be able to roll out of the way of, but you can't. I saw the prompt there. I somehow missed the deflection. Oh, what? How the fuck do you avoid that? You just stay on the sides of the arena, it seems. I mean, I even had an idea as to what to do, but somehow the middle spray changed position. And I have no idea why you can deflect those, but... okay. He has a lot of trouble turning, it looks like. I don't have time to hit his weak spot. Why does that knock you over? Yeah, I knew he was gonna attack me during that cutscene. Because this game is stupid. That's why I was spamming the deflect button.
You know, I'm gonna have to ask for forgiveness when this is all over.
This is such a messy encounter. But I don't even think it's as bad as Salazar or Krauser. Yeah, you just have to run to the side. It's just hard to tell what he's doing, because he doesn't make distinct sound effects that indicate the move he's doing. Yeah, kick that when I'm trying to get up, dude. That's very smart. And that didn't even touch me, and he somehow knocked me down. Great hitbox this game. That touched me, which makes sense. Like, how do you fight this guy normally? Like, what are they expecting you to do? I've asked this question with every single boss at this point. What are they expecting you to do? There's no, like, debris you can use and actually launch it into Sadler to knock him over. You're once again just mindlessly shooting weak spots. So dumb. How do you get away from his follow-up attacks after that? There has to be some kind of loop I can use against him. What? Okay, that was an attack? I didn't even see the fucking animation! I'm just trying everything at this point. It might seem like I'm being a fucking idiot right now, but you'd be the same way if you felt your options were gone. Or you had to try something to make this bearable. Try something weird. Think like new Capcom. He's just standing there now. Oh! His AI is so fucking weird. Once again, it just feels like they've just designed this with the merchant in mind, because you have to buy the sniper rifle to even nail your shots. And why that knocks you over, I just don't get it. Are you fucking kidding me? At least while he's doing this, he's killing the Vistador. And I'm somehow missing that weak spot. The timing on that is pretty lenient when you're jumping up. Oh no! What the hell was he doing? His AI fucked up somehow. What? Fuck this entire fight. I am using this. If Leon ever reloads fast enough. Well, now he's going there for some reason, even though I wasn't even damaging him. Just jumping all over the place. I really wish I had shotgun shells right now, but I don't want to take the chance to run. At least when I'm... Come on. Jump up, jump up. They've ruined yet again another phenomenal fight from the original game. Because trying to fight him normally is just so fucking awkward. And then you have the Novacidors being added into this fight because they had to find some way to give you ammo. Right. How did that miss me?
I'm about to kill.
Except you killed so many Ganado at this point, dude. I'm stuck on his fucking tentacle. And I hear the Novacidor behind me. Didn't even go into the animation that time. Now he decides to go into it. All these delayed animations. Where? It cancelled my mantle animation when he went into the cutscene. Are they fucking stupid? How many fucking animations can be cancelled by these cutscenes that are so pointless? Okay, I've had enough of this. I'm turning off the audio again. It's so fucking garbage. Wait, how the fuck do you program that and consider it good? And the fucking movement is so animation heavy, I can't turn around properly to actually do the mantle animation. And could his mantle animation be so much slower? Why is it so fucking slow? Can I throw a flash grenade to stop that move? Looks like it. I'm having so much fun right now. Looping the same move over and over again because this guy's attacks are so badly designed. And I can't fucking jump down! Because he refuses to jump down unless the camera is facing in his direction. I'm gonna die. Constantly knocking me over. Okay, I need to get on that ladder right now. I don't have a flash grenade, so I can't stop this move. Oh shit! This entire fight, just fuck it. This is so fucking brain dead, again. They give you no fucking choice in the matter. They're just busy, just using the mantle animation to your advantage because this guy's moves are so bullshit, and some of them involve parrying and can't seem to be avoided properly. Not to mention you have the fucking ads coming in, ruining the fight even more, because Sadler's too chicken to face Leon by himself. And they have to put in some kind of way for the player to get ammunition.
With one will and one God, we shall witness the coming of a paradise free of misfortune. Your grief, your agony. I can relieve you of those hurtings. Like a fade in the moon, the subjects of my...
Have to limit his fucking moveset so that he doesn't do any of the bullshit attacks. At least the pattern I found with Salazar has a bit of practicality to it with how I avoid his moves, even though at times it can be very bullshit and broken, as was demonstrated in the 3 hours I spent with him. But this guy, I don't understand how you fight this guy normally. They're so fucking weird with the way they designed Sadler. Alright, I need to use a flash grenade right here.
Disciples assemble! Besiege! Do not let them escape!
Oh shit. Come on. Why doesn't he just do that at the start? Why does he have to do that and then do other attacks? And then repeat the same attack? What is it serving? It's just wasting my time. It could cancel out my actions. At any moment, these Navisidors can grab me. And why is it dropping submachine gun ammo? I don't have the fucking submachine gun. Saw that coming. What awe-inspiring boss design. And they do nothing to give me incentive not to do this. Because they've already settled for a broken fight as their official final fight. A damaged spongy, broken boss for a final boss fight. Fucking kill me right now. Just put me out of my misery right now with this shitty game. Literally the kind of thing I would be doing in Resident Evil 1 Remake. I think I'm hearing it in the Visa door, I have no idea. And why will that weak spot not be destroyed? Did he get increased health? Is it inconsistent damage? Give me a fucking reason, game. And I have no idea how I'm gonna hit those last two weak spots. Because I have to open myself up to his broken attacks. That one I can at least get. This is the penultimate showdown with Sadler? This is how you build up your main villain? There's just no fucking payoff here. And he's all the way back there for some reason. He's gonna do his acid attacks, that's what he's gonna do. At least I have a couple of healing items ready. And that's bullshit. What the fuck was I meant to do? And they're so fucking fast. You have to like prematurely run and know the fucking direction. Oh shit. I mean, like, why does he even need to do his attacks? He might as well just jump on top of me every time, because the fucking movement is so animation heavy and so fucking slow. I hear the beast doors behind me. I have no idea what that buzzing noise is. I just keep hearing it occasionally, and I keep thinking it's a Nabistador. I still don't think this fight is as bad as Krauser. Krauser was infinitely worse, I would say. Oh, I thought he was doing the horizontal one because all he said was Las Plagas, rather than his other statement. There's a reason why these weak spots took only one shot in the original Resident Evil 4. Not to mention grenades could consistently stun Sadler. Every time you detonated a grenade, it would always stun him. And then you could follow up with a knife execution on him. There was actual debris you could use against Sadler to stun him. There was explosive barrels as well. This is so lacking in creativity. There are no unique mechanics being displayed right here. No one-time set pieces exclusive to the environment, like what you'd be getting in Resident Evil 4 and 5, and mainly in Resident Evil 5, though. Not to mention, they designed a lot of his attacks for parrying. He didn't have his acid attacks that vary every fucking time, and you can't even see what he's doing because you're busy dealing with the ads being included in this fight because Sadler's too much of a pussy to handle you by himself. And because of his pussy nature, I'm having to match it by exploiting the game like this. This better be all there is to his boss fight. If there's any more, just fucking kill me. Now, how the hell am I supposed to get that last weak spot over there? What a fucking disgraceful fight! Every fucking boss has been disgraceful. Is he dead? No, he's not dead, of course. Why would he be dead? He's gonna go into the next phase. He's not dead, he's gonna mutate even further. Like I fucking thought. Like I thought, there's another phase.
I'm getting sick of your shit.
What the fuck is this? Are we in the realm of consciousness? Is all this taking place in the fucking realm of consciousness? What's this fantasy garbage? I can understand something like this in a Plague Tale Requiem because of the fact that the Prima Macula, as much as it's steeped in science, there is a bit of science fiction with it as well, and a bit of fantasy, because that's how they wanted to fantasize the Black Plague in the Plague Tale Requiem, and it serves a fucking purpose for the story, and it's a very interesting set piece. But this is taking place in fucking Resident Evil. How the fuck does this trigger a massive mutation like this? All the damage I dealt to Sadler is not meant to trigger this kind of fucking mutation.
Finally, a look that suits you, Sadler. A monster in and out. Still, I need to cut this date short. It's not me. It's you.
They can't just make it one shot? What the fuck? How do I defend myself?
Use this!
I guess I'll turn on the music again. Fuck you. Thank God that is all there is to Sadler's boss fight. And I don't know if professional difficulty will change this or not. What a fucking awful ending for this game. That is fucking disgraceful. Fucking Navistadors spawning out of the blue, spawn attacking you. And if you don't have a flash grenade, you won't be able to stop the move that spawns them in. A flash grenade is mandatory for this fight, just like with the El Gigante. Shooting the weak spots means fuck all. And his moves, for some bizarre reason, are designed around parrying. Not to mention, you can't even deal with them with the Navistadors around, and they also have really weird hitboxes, and then he breaks up the arena, forcing you to limit your options even more. And so this is what the game wanted me to do, apparently. Just repeatedly loop his jump, get as far away as possible, while still changing planes. Shoot his weak spots, then eventually just take out the main weak spot with whatever, and repeat the process ad nauseum. Ad fucking nauseum. There's no epic music playing. Sadler's just rambling like a maniac. He's so soft-spoken in this scene, I don't even fucking care what he's saying. He's just so cliched at this point. I'm not putting up with his shitty moveset. I'm going to limit his moveset so I can balance this fight out. What a terrible ending. What a fucking disgrace. What a fucking ripoff of a final boss fight that I considered to be my second favorite boss fight in the entire Resident Evil series. There's zero creativity with this fight. It's a fucking damage sponge boss again. At least it's not as bad as Salazar or Krauser. But he's still a fucking bullet sponge. And once again, it just feels like they designed this fight with the merchant in mind, even though they want to say, oh, we designed this game without the merchant in mind. Oh, we designed this game with handguns/knives only. This holds on every fucking difficulty, I imagine. What change could there possibly be to his moveset? And then he uses that black liquid again to attack, which I don't understand. No explanation for it. And then we have this superior Plaga species that we never get to see, because apparently Sadler's Plaga is different. He's the dominant species. And then the superior species is different somehow. And then that mutation at the end, when it goes all fantasy-esque. All the tentacles surrounding Sadler. And for some reason, he's inside of a ball like he's a fucking embryo. I don't understand why. Do they have to be so fucking absurd with their appearances? Do they have to be so fucking absurd with their set pieces that it violates the grounded nature of Resident Evil? I can excuse Miranda's boss fight in the realm of consciousness because it's the realm of consciousness. And we also got to use Rose's abilities. That fight was way more epic than every single boss on this game. And it's in a DLC that is so fucking bare bones with gameplay. It's only set to hardcore difficulty. The fucking bosses in Resident Evil Village are better designed than every fucking boss on this game. Even bosses like Moreau. I would rather fight Moreau again than indulge in any of the bosses on this fucking awful game. This is an insult to the entire Resident Evil series. This doesn't even feel like a fucking Resident Evil game. This is a brand new IP, masquerading as Resident Evil. It only has the title of Resident Evil to buy into the fans' loyalty to Resident Evil. All to exploit them for their own corporate greed. To deliver the shoddy product And I'm saying all this, and I'll be coming back to this game for professional difficulty, and when I do my walkthrough, and I'll be playing this game more than the other Resident Evil games for the time being. Because I want to salvage something from this toxic waste dump of a game.
I'll give you a holy body.
That's it? That is so fucking lame. That's a really lame final quote for Leon in this case. I'll give you a holy body? He could do so much better than that. Ethan Winters saying playtime's over before he deals the final blow to Evelyn is more epic than that fucking quote. Ethan Winters saying you're the one who's cursed to Lady Dimitrescu is more epic. In death as he was in life. Another Ethan Winters quote is more epic when he killed Moreau. Eat shit is more epic when he said that to Urias when he killed him. And you didn't even need a final quote for Miranda, because such a moment would have ruined the setup of him saving Rose and his sacrifice. It would have been so tonally wrong on so many levels. Do me a favor and stay dead. More epic with Jack Baker. Now, I've seen everything. More epic with Jack Baker. And then they follow up on that quote in Resident Evil Village when he says, I wish it could stay like this forever. What a fantastic tie-in to that quote. This is so fucking abysmal. This is such a lame quote. This is such a lame final boss fight. Not even lame. Far below the baseline of incompetency. This game has once again dropped in its points. This is now a 1 times 10 to the negative 40 out of 10. This is the worst Resident Evil game ever made. This is the worst remake I have ever played. This is the worst game I have ever played in my entire life as a gamer. It just doesn't make any sense why he's this massive. The fucking little Boros virus with Excella. It wasn't just Excella growing, she bonded with other corpses on the ship. Their biomass added to her, while still being a very extreme mutation in the process. And just think of the size of little Boros Picono from that one test subject. Now imagine a boat full of enemies bonding with Ouroboros. The biomass makes so much more sense. This doesn't make any fucking sense from Sadler. A single guy? What is he bonding with? Other Ganado? Is he bonding with the Navistadors? Why are the Navistadors even given as much prominence? It's not like they're a fully evolved Plaga. They're insects merged with the Plagas, aren't they? And then they have that black slime merged with them? Like, what is this?
Ada, what the hell are you doing?
Nothing personal, Leon. Luis and I had an arrangement.
What is that, the Amber? Is that the superior species Plaga? What is it? And he's just letting her go again! He's letting her go again! Ada held Leon at gunpoint to force Leon to give up the dominant species Plaga. Then she escaped into the helicopter. I get that she helped him by giving him that special rocket launcher just out of the blue, but come on! He's just letting her go with that sample. He's seen what the Plaga is capable of. He's really entrusting the Plaga to an enemy like her? Someone who works for Albert Wesker? Are you fucking kidding me? Why is he so fucking dense and retarded?
Ride's here. You coming?
You coming? Are you fucking kidding
I
me?
think we both know this is where we go our separate ways.
Da da da! Separate Ways DLC has been announced. Roll fucking credits. I'm so excited for the DLC. This is new Capcom's magnum opus, guys. They're wanting you to appreciate this. With the slip of the tongue right here. Give me a fucking break, new Capcom. Fuck all of you! Fuck new Capcom! Fuck all these shitty characters! Fuck the toxic fans! Who are going to comment on this video and tell me I'm being overly negative or nitpicky! Or that I suck at the game! Yeah, fuck all of you!
Better get a move on.
Now we have to escape on the jet ski, and apparently you can take damage during the jet ski moment.
Until next time, Leon.
Leon! Where's she going?
Who knows?
I don't understand. Why would she just...
Better move. Island's gonna blow.
It's gonna what?
Oh yeah, don't worry about the village area, don't worry about the castle. Oh, it's just the island we have to worry about. I mean, there were hundreds of Ganados left over because I ran past all of them to try to save up on my ammunition because they're a badly designed enemy with physical characteristics that don't match how they're presented in the gameplay. How could these enemies possibly be more resilient than the Lycans from Resident Evil Village? They're not even a special enemy type, they're just a normal enemy. Yeah, don't worry about them. Or the Visitor Nest, or anything like that. Just move on.
Okay, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Wow, they even give a typewriter before this moment. Are they really expecting people to just fail this section over and over again? It probably goes to professional difficulty. Must be why.
Here yet.
Thanks.
How the hell did Ada even plant all these explosives here in the first place? It didn't do damage to me.
You're not attacking.
The black liquid.
They're nothing now that Master's gone. It's over for you.
God, the amount of black liquid they're spewing from their mouths.
Alright. Not bad, Ada. You like thrill rides?
This is gonna be so bad. This is gonna be really bad. This is gonna fucking suck balls. It's gonna suck balls. Oh, really? The walls can damage you? I almost died right there. You get a lot of momentum by just going up. I let go of the accelerator and I still got that momentum. Oh, that wasn't so bad actually.
You alright?
I'm not sure that was insane.
It's better than the VR version of Resident Evil 4, that's for sure. That sequence was awful. on the water ski moment in Resident Evil 4 VR. Is that really it?
Mission accomplished, right?
Okay.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, don't worry about the other stuff with the castle and the village. You're fine.
When you're home safe.
Although I'm guessing because of Sadler's death, the rest of the Ganado are dead, so it doesn't matter. But okay.
Thank you for saving me.
Don't mention it.
But, like, you should still destroy the village and the castle. There's research there. There's all these other traps. There's all these cells. There's all these executions happening. And the like. I mean, this is where a lot of their base of operations is established. In the village, the castle, and the island area. But apparently the island area is the only stronghold worth bombing. That doesn't make sense.
You know, I could put in a word with my dad. Have you assigned to my detail, if you're interested.
You don't need me.
Oh my god.
You
Oh,
proved
we're a
you can
team,
handle
right?
yourself.
You proved you can handle yourself! What the fuck did she do? Other than be a fucking baby and I had to babysit her with her shitty AI getting grabbed all the time. And every single action she was doing, even with the wrecking ball, had nothing to do with handling yourself. Anyone could do that. Had to still protect her from enemies. You didn't even teach her how to fire a gun, you retard. Maybe she could have been helpful in Sadler's boss fight. Or any other boss for that matter. Seriously.
Even if you could use a lesson in knife safety.
Like, for God's sake, Moira in Resident Evil Revelations 2 was stuck on that island for months. She had to learn how to survive. She survived on her own. By just watching Claire and the way she held her weapon. Not to mention she also got some lessons from Yevgeny. But at least she took the time to learn how to fire a gun, and she doesn't have the same level of combat experience. Just like Ashley. I mean, at least Moira could use a crowbar, but Ashley could do the same thing too, if she tried. Seriously. All because they were so afraid of making it a co-op experience. Fucking Last of Us delivers a better survival horror experience. Last of Us redefined survival horror with the idea of a companion and telling a compelling story with a main character and his companion alongside other companions as well, to flesh out the story, to flesh out the lore, to give more life and substance to the world you were in. But they still want to cling to the old ways, apparently. Every single part of this game reeks of 1996 mentalities.
Come on. Let's go home.
Better hope you don't run out of fuel along the way.
Condor 1? Bruce to Condor 1, do you read me? Come in. I said come in. Is this thing even on? Leon!
Is this thing even on? Really?
Leon, are you and Ashley alright? Where are you? Come on!
What was the point of including that Hunnigan line if he's not even gonna respond? Worst fucking game in existence. Oh, Yasaryu Ambo, don't even flash that name at me. You're a fucking disgraceful developer. How the mighty have fallen. You have fallen from your pedestal as a competent developer. The fucking director from Resident Evil 5 made the worst game in all of existence for me, and the worst Resident Evil game ever made in all of Resident Evil history. Kadoi-san. That guy also directed Resident Evil 2 Remake, and he clearly had more influence over Ambo-san. Where Ambo-san lost his way because of Kadoi-san. No, fuck this. I'm not watching this. And what about the superior species? They said they manufactured this. They said they were about to mass produce it. How has it not happened yet? And we've just forgotten about it with this Amber now. Because it has the one superior species. What about the rest of the mass production that was supposed to happen? I mean, I know she blew up the island, but wasn't it happening somewhere else as well? Like, they said it was underway. And I don't really see how this one tiny plaga can create a mutation as severe as Salazar and Sadler's mutations. Really? You could have fucking fooled me. You could have fooled me, new Capcom.
Patch me through. I've obtained the amber.
Excellent.
Just one question. What are you planning to do with this?
Why do you care? You're only here for the big bucks, right, Ada? That's why you so willingly help out these people. You helped out the family, for crying out loud. For a bit. And then eventually, Simmons had so much of a fascination with you that he wanted to recreate you. And that led to many C-virus mutations being made in the process. And conveniently, Carlo Redeems turned out to be the perfect host to create a replicate Ada Wong. Yeah, and you felt sickened with Simmons at that point. I still don't remember what operation Simmons had her assigned to. Was it related to Raccoon City? Because he was one of the people who authorized the nuclear strike against Raccoon City. Did he have something to do with Ada's assignment then? Like, I don't understand. I'll have to replay Resident Evil 6 to understand. But I'm just amazed she cares right now.
I do not pay you to ask questions.
That voice acting is so poor. That's not Wesker's voice. There's nothing imposing or tactically sound. Something indicative of a strategic leader. Something indicative of someone who's had huge experience encountering BOWs. That does not sound like the voice of someone who went through the Wesker project with Project W.
All you need to know is a new dawn is breaking. 100 will give their lives so that just one may live.
And now they're doing this shitty camera work. The camera work in Resident Evil Village Shed as a Rose DLC with hiding Ethan's face was just not needed. It was so hard to look at. It was terrible. How the fuck can you have any respect for Ethan Winters when the camera is just hiding half of his face and it just looks so fucking stupid? Like, they have to be so literal with their mystique of Ethan Winters rather than actually being smart with their camera work, like what they did with the final cutscene of Resident Evil Village with Ethan Winters' sacrifice. And then when he's paying respect to Rose, you have this fucking arm in the way, you have the camera not even showing his face properly. It's just hard to look at. It looks so fucking silly. And why do they even need to hide Albert Wesker's face? We know what he looks like. He just has the glasses in front of him. Why do they need to do that? It's so unnecessary. Okay, now they're revealing his face finally.
Expediting that change.
So, we're talking millions of casualties.
Billions.
Ouroboros.
How ambitious. We're changing course now.
It doesn't matter anyway. He's gonna obviously find the superior species Plaga somewhere on the island, or he's gonna extract a dominant Plaga sample from Krauser's dead body. So what does it matter in the end? And I'm amazed the pilot could disregard Albert Wesker's orders so easily, just at gunpoint. What a terrible game. This is the worst game I have ever played in all of existence. There's Hunnigan. The cutscene's in 30 FPS for some reason.
Good work.
B rank. Whatever. I've never played a Resident Evil game like this. This isn't even a fucking game. This is a fucking alpha. Every step of the way, this game never improved. This game just got worse and worse and worse the longer it went on. And I mentioned in one of the titles of this blind playthrough, I'm feeling drained the longer I play this game. I'm so fucking done with this game, guys. I'm really fucking done. Shit gameplay. Shit story. Shit characters. Just absurd scenarios involving the original Plaga. That's too short of a summary, guys. Like I said before, I need to do a review. Not because I want to. I need to do a fucking review of this disgraceful game. I need to stop calling it a game at this point. This disgraceful alpha. This fucking alpha is the single worst game. I did it again. I don't know how I'm gonna stop myself from saying game. I don't want to call this a game anymore. It's just gonna be a slip of the tongue at this point. This fucking alpha. The Ganados didn't flinch whatsoever. The detection on certain attacks was awful. The knife hit detection, like the fucking execution animation with the knife has really shit detection. The stealth is so pointless in this game because every single encounter is set up in such a way that you're going to be forced into combat because they want you to use the bolt thrower. It's like, why even advertise a trophy for no merchant if you're going to be forcing the bolt thrower like that? So you're just forcing the player to mindlessly run past everything to save up on ammunition. And even when you do that, you just don't have enough ammunition. This alpha was sabotaged already from the beginning. A shit village intro, where the mechanics just betray you all the time. I mean, you can shoot the bell, but you need a sniper rifle because they don't allow it to be possible on New Game whatsoever. You get no iframes during mantle animations, which makes no sense because, again, you have to have the camera and Leon facing in the correct direction. There are so many animations on this game that warrant the use of iframes, and the enemies have all these absurd capabilities. Like, they're so fucking aggressive a lot of the times, and other times they're passive. But the way they balance out this aggressive nature to the AI was the use of iframes during many different animations. But the number of times you get put into animations that just cause you to be hit by enemies that don't give you iframes whatsoever. Like all the shit stuff involving enemies just jumping through windows and knocking you back. And then when Leon just starts rolling on the ground from the most effeminate attacks ever because of how badly programmed that animation is, becomes a fucking joke at that point. The fucking combat scenarios were badly designed, every single one of them. The shotgun was very useless most of the time. The pistol was god-awful. The grenades are fucking terrible in this game. You can't even use them as defense items for some bizarre reason. Knife durability is so forced upon you and so crucial to the natural flow of gameplay that you'll instead be relying upon running past the enemies and not even indulging in the new mechanics to save up on knife durability. You'll pretty much be forcing yourself to slot into the merchant like it's a fucking microtransaction system to get this game done on the true difficulties that's meant to showcase the developer's true mindset, what they actually value, what they are not willing to get rid of, what they are willing to get rid of. It's clear they don't value an experience for hardcore and professional difficulty. They just want to favor a fucking alpha. They want to favor a nails on a chalkboard banging your head against the wall kind of scenario for the harder difficulties. That's not even indicative of real challenge. Very rarely were any issues in this game my fault. Very rarely. Like 90% of the time when I was taking damage, or when I was being put into scenarios where I was going to be taking damage, or the times where I had to resort to some very strange strategies to bypass the crappy designs at play, it was all because of the poor designs. The poor designs put so much fucking stress upon me that I was playing the game very awkwardly in order to ensure that I would actually survive this game and actually have enough ammunition and actually have enough knife durability. There's no fucking common sense displayed right here. You can tell this game was not QA tested properly. They had like one QA tester named Pablo. And he's the one who's like, oh, this game is serviceable. Or he got so burned out from his work that he just falsified this game, its current state. The amount of forward knowledge you need for these sections to get them done. I had to replay this game 2 times to actually have enough ammunition to do the sequences coming up because I didn't know what was coming up. And they don't even bother giving enough ammunition back. They place the enemies so poorly in the environments. They place the ammunition so poorly in the environments. And so many fundamental mechanics are tied around the merchant. Arbitrary damage values, dictating the flow of gameplay, dictating the hit stun on enemies. And the enemies just increased in health the further you went. And then you have the bosses. The bosses are so broken on this game. These are the worst bosses I've ever seen in the entire Resident Evil games. Whether it be from their very awkward AI, their shitty pathfinding, their atrocious hitbox, their ability to hit you through geometry, the inclusion of additional enemies in their boss fights. The story being so fucking absurd and not respecting the original storyline of Resident Evil. The inclusion and exclusion of lore when it best suits the developer's convenience. The terrible portrayals of the characters. The clunky designs that play with Ashley, and Ashley's even worse than what was already the case in Resident Evil 4. Why they made it where you can't leave her somewhere else. Why would Leon take her in the middle of combat so that she can so easily be killed or just captured by the enemies, leading to a frustrating experience. The over-reliance on exploits in holes to dictate proper balance with the game. Because New Capcom was so incompetent as to design functional gameplay experiences. Just the way the Ganado navigate the environment, just the way the environments are set up to handle them. And the way they just don't allow you to use the new mechanics properly, because if you do, you're gonna fuck yourself on future progress. It's too fucking absurd with this game. I had to break this game down to a rudimentary level to even survive. And we've seen how bad the Ganados are. Now we move on to the special enemy types. Novicidors. Yes, they die fast. Yes, their hit stun can be decent at times. But they make almost no noise when they're flying, because the audio is so broken on them, and they get phantom range on their grabs, allowing them to grab you from like 5 feet away somehow. Their camouflage capability, while it is appreciated in certain parts, it just adds more frustration to the mix when it's complementing the poor designs already at play. Garradors. Knife hit detection is terrible when you are trying to get their weak spot. They can be so fucking omniscient a lot of the times for no reason, and they just path in your direction magically even though they're blind. And then you have that other Garrador sequence with the 2 Garradors and the rest of the enemies. That's one of the worst parts of the game, by far. They couldn't design it well enough to accommodate just a few enemies complementing the Garradors. No, they had to put in so many fucking enemies for that sequence. Not to mention it takes an absurd amount of ammunition to even get the sequence done. I had to use the rocket launcher to even scrape by that section. You have the brutes. The brutes, they just have an absurd amount of life. They have no hit stun whatsoever. The knife execution animation is very broken on them. And yes, you could crouch under their attack, and they had some pretty slow attacks so you could get around. But there was never any need to deal with them, aside from the cabin sequence. And now we have the brute with the wrist-mounted arrows. That one was pretty dumb. You had to use like corner exploits. You had to use a third-person cover trick to your advantage. When you're having to do that, and you're having to rely upon arbitrary damage values on your weapons to even get the sequences done, it makes no sense. It's so fucking broken. Plagotype A's are broken. Plagotype Betas. I mean, I didn't deal with them on the same level as the Plagotype A's. But they're definitely the better Plagotype variation, yet they're still shit in their designs. With how little they flinch, and with how much punishment they can take a lot of the times. Plagotype C's. We barely ever saw Plagotype C's as it is. We only saw them a handful of times in the castle area, and then we saw a whole bunch of them in the Wrecking Ball sequence, that I'm going to definitely skip using grenades, if I have grenades for that sequence. Regenerators. Too much fucking life. The hit detection on the parasites is almost non-existent. They have so many attacks that you can't deflect for some reason. Their grab is way too fast. You can't crouch under it. And just speaking of the grabs, this Alpha has the worst grabs I've ever seen in all of gaming history. So badly handled they were. The crouch is just useless against so many attacks on this game. Because of how fucking ambiguous the detection is on the crouch. Not to mention, you have enemies doing the close range grab, where they do a long range grab at close range. That's their idea of a close range grab. So even when you crouch under the grab, you get grabbed for no reason. all the fucking time. And then, like, the amount of enemies they put into these sequences is just not befitting for the core designs of this game. This game would have been better off had there been, like, 3 enemies per room. Not a whole horde of enemies, for crying out loud. Resident Evil 4, 5, even 6 could handle this better. 4, 5, and 6 can handle those kind of horde enemies, not this game. Because this game has the mentalities of Resident Evil 1 Remake and Resident Evil 2 Remake clashing with the mentalities of Resident Evil 4 Remake. And it affected everything with this fucking game and this fucking alpha. Del Lago was okay. It's a cinematic fight, and the health is just tied to the boat, not to you, so it's fine. The El Gigante, horrible. Worse than fucking Moreau. You're having to rely upon exploits by just standing behind his left leg and hoping he doesn't grab you with that really fast back attack of his. Because the room is so badly designed. His long-range attacks are very bullshit, with certain ones at least, and then his close-range attacks when his parasite is exposed. You have no chance of avoiding them. You have no chance of placing yourself intelligently in the room to avoid his attacks because he gets so much forward momentum. His attacks last for way too long, and when he starts doing that flail attack, and he's moving towards you actively, you're fucked. You've got to damage race him, you have no choice. Torres Mendez. He's honestly the better boss of this game, I would say, but he's still a shit fight. They completely ruined his status as an imposing boss from the original Resident Evil 4 with his slow movement, his intimidating music, and his moves. And 4 incendiary grenades was enough to kill him, plus an explosive barrel. And that was the game's way of rewarding you for saving your ammunition. But even when you're being smart with your ammunition, the game still fucks you over. Because that's how you reward survival horror play, right? That's what any survival horror game would do, right? No, it's fucking stupid. Then you have Vertigo, and Vertigo is okay if you're running away from him constantly, but I have no idea what he's going to be like on Professional. And just as a matter of fact, every single boss in this game is going to be worse on Professional. But Vertigo's a time sequence. You just got to navigate that tiny room for a bit, and just make sure you're hiding around corners because his moves are very bullshit. He has so much forward momentum. He jumps at you from across the room. You have barely any room to move to the side to avoid his attacks. It's so broken, that entire fight. Same with that stupid Garrador fight and those enemies supporting them. Salazar. Worst boss on this game, alongside Krauser. That's the worst boss ever made in the entire Resident Evil series. And just the way he looks like a Mega Mycete mutation rather than a Plaga mutation doesn't make sense. His hitboxes are terrible. He can hit you through geometry. His pathfinding is awful. The fucking pustules he randomly leaves on the ground, even though it doesn't make sense in relation to his positioning. They're so fucking broken. So you're forced to limit yourself in combat by staying on one side of the arena. You're far better off just using the rocket launcher against him, and why they don't allow you to buy the rocket launcher multiple times, even though it's the most expensive it's ever been, I don't understand. Like, just thinking of this game from the context of Merchant. Just using the Merchant. Why would it be less skillful to just strategically save on your money to buy rocket launchers to deal with the bosses? Why would that be a problem? Why do they only allow one rocket launcher to be used? That doesn't make any fucking sense. I've already explained the regenerators, but like I said, their hit detection is terrible. For some reason, the hitboxes on the weak spots are non-existent, and even when you peel back the flesh, it somehow doesn't allow you to hit their weak spot properly. It's clear the game wants you to use the sniper rifle against that enemy, yet why is it advertising no merchant then? You can't get the sniper rifle on fucking no merchant. You can get the machine gun, yes, and it's compatible with the infrared scope, but you still have to peel back the flesh and deal with the flimsy movement of the regenerator. Then moving on, we have Krauser. They ruined the best boss of Resident Evil 4 by far. Krauser's entire sequence in this game is all scripted. And for some reason, he's so resilient to your shots, even though he's human. He has, like, similar capabilities to the fucking Ganado, physically. And yet for some reason, your guns don't make him flinch. He's able to resist the shotgun, and you have to be so reliant upon your knife because he gets so much forward momentum with his knife attacks. And when they're going to be designing professional difficulty with the perfect parry in mind, and the perfect parry, it just makes no sense with Krauser. Because it's almost like it's broken with the timing. It's going to be so fucking awkward. And then when he mutates, there's no room to run. He can do all these attacks that just allow him to hit you easily. All of his attacks are designed with the knife parry in mind. Minus the one where he uses his buff hand and just tries to grab you, but you can crouch under that. And then when he holds his hand out in front of him, and then he does that backhand attack, there's no fucking avoiding it. You have to keep your distance at all times. Not to mention he has an absurd amount of life as well. So you're having to keep your distance from him by just going up top and just making sure he's just blocking the entire time, shooting his legs, trying to take advantage of the ladder animation so that he doesn't hit you, so that he's just in the middle of his jump animation so that you can hit him. And that's somehow awe-inspiring gameplay. And literally, when Krauser's like, I become better than who I was originally, that's their way of saying they value that kind of boss design over what Krauser was like in the original. Krauser had so many varied attacks that were very fair. He was random in where he chose to hide. He flinched consistently from the knife. Not to mention he could evade as well, so you had to keep track of him. And I make that mistake a couple of times as well with Krauser, where he can mislead me with his movement, and so I end up missing and he kills me. That's my fault. You can also shoot his grenades as well, when he throws them, and you actually stun him. He only takes a few knife hits before he goes away when he uses his flash grenade. Here, it takes an eternity for him to go away before he initiates the next phase of his fight. And he doesn't flinch whatsoever. It's so fucking broken! And he has too much fucking life for no reason. And U3, for some reason, doesn't make an appearance on this game, which I don't understand. The combination of genes from various organisms with U3 complementing the Plaga was very interesting. But he's gone for some reason, and now he's just been replaced by U2, which are these Novista doors. And then they have the black slime, which makes no sense. They have the amber, you have the superior species, you have everything involving the Plaga, you have all the inconsistencies with the capabilities of the Plagas, and the way they respond to Sadler's commands. You have the hive mind, which goes absolutely nowhere, but the only reason they designed it this way was for them to somehow explain off why Ada didn't bother bombing the village or the castle area. Because when Sadler dies, the rest of the colony dies. And yet, even when they're dead, there's still all that research intact in the castle and village areas. You have all these other BOWs at play. You have the black slime right there. What are they gonna say? The black slime magically became the mutamycete and it infected the fungus? Like, actually, the real origin of the mutamycete is in this Val de Lobos area? And somehow, it affected that parasitic colony that went over to Romania and roosted. But, of course, that doesn't make any sense because the megamycete has existed for centuries. And I have no idea when this black slime was even made. Like, what does it have to do with the Plaga? It makes no fucking sense. But going back to the main tangent, all the set pieces involving Ashley were terrible. The switch sequence in the water room area of chapter 7, I believe. Or chapter 8, I don't know. Ashley doesn't move around the enemy. She's not actually moving towards the switches. She just stands there. So I'm forced to waste my ammunition to try to kill the enemies. And even though they have less life, the game doesn't bother giving you enough ammunition before that sequence. Yet the fucking water room area was set up in such a way that you had to kill them because they would have grabbed Ashley otherwise. What the fuck were they thinking with this? And you have that wrecking ball sequence. That wrecking ball sequence was so stupid. But at least now I can know you can use grenades to speed up the sequence. I don't even know if you have to use heavy grenades or normal grenades. I really don't know. But they focus on all these Easter eggs, yet they don't even refine their core gameplay. Like I said before in one of my parts, why don't you focus on refining your core gameplay before you decide to install these Easter eggs, you fucking retards of developers? 3-year-olds didn't design this game. Amateurs didn't design this game. Fucking aliens did. Aliens with a brain capacity so far below the baseline of incompetency. And then you have Sadler here. He's accompanied by Novisadors because he's too much of a pussy to handle you on his own. So you have to deal with the existing problems apparent with the Novisadors. His moves, some of them are designed with parries in mind, so you have to waste knife durability. And then also he charges at you. He can do all these range attacks out of the blue. And then he jumps up and he summons more of those fucking Novisadors. If you don't have a flash grenade, you're fucked. There's nothing you can do to stop that. And then he makes sure that he's tearing apart the arena to limit your options. Your options are so limited during the fight that you have to rely upon exploits. You have to rely upon Sadler's jumping animation and climbing on ladders and doing that drop-down animation and climbing up animation to make sure that he's busy dilly-dallying with all these fucking animations so that you can hit his weak spots safely. And once again, in the context of no merchant and handgun slash knife only, what the fuck are you meant to do? It's like they designed that fight with sniper rifle in mind. Hitting the weak spot once doesn't put him into a weakened state. You don't do some fancy knife execution on him. Grenades don't consistently stun him as well. There's no debris that you can use in his environment to stun him. It's so fucking bare bones and basic and so rudimentary for a boss. So rudimentary to the point that you have to rely upon exploits to balance the fight out. I'm an old man at this point. I feel like I've just been lost to time. I feel like I've aged as I've gone through this game. I'm a crotchety old man at this point. With actual common sense. And common thought. Just trying to go through this alpha. 2023. And this is the quality of Resident Evil now. It's in a worse state than it ever was back in 1996. Resident Evil 1 Remake is better. Resident Evil 2 Remake. Resident Evil 3 Remake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Revelations 2. Dead Aim. Even fucking Project Resistance and Umbrella Corps are more bearable than this pile of shit. A mainline Resident Evil title. And it feels like a Gaiden game. A side game. Or like a fucking phone game. A free-to-play mobile game that honestly could be on par with loot boxes and microtransactions and the like. Just damn new Capcom to hell. Damn them all to hell. Fuck them. I'm giving them the middle finger right now. Fuck them as a development team. Fuck all the characters. Fuck the story. Fuck the gameplay. Fuck this entire stupid alpha. Fuck all the toxic fans who are going to say, oh, I'm ranting. Oh, I'm nitpicking. Oh, I'm whiny. Oh, I'm a baby. Oh, I don't know what I'm talking about. Get a fucking life, you fucking retards. That kind of lackadaisical nature informed the developers to design this crap game. This fucking alpha. Because new Capcom listened to you idiotic fans so much. All the people who whined about Resident Evil 4 OG. And they gave you what you wanted. And you're too fucking oblivious to see the fucking issues at play. You scummy fuckers! All of you are about as diverse in thought as a fucking racist. Just like the developers. They have put me through the grinder right now. They put me through the shit right now. I'm the fucking volleyball being bounced all over the place in a volleyball match. Yeah. I need to do a review, but not before I do my professional difficulty blind playthrough. I'm just gonna upload the rest of this blind playthrough for hardcore difficulty. Then I will actually do professional difficulty. I'm so done with this game, guys. This game is a 1 times 10 to the negative 50. No, I'm increasing my score from negative 40 to negative 50. 1 times 10 to the negative 50 out of 10. This is the worst Resident Evil game I've ever played. This is the worst remake I've ever played. This is the worst game I've ever played in my entire existence. C'est la vie. I'm fucking done. I need to cool off right now, guys. I'm gonna cool myself off by just getting my blind playthrough out right now. I'm gonna save all of this venom and vitriol for when I get to my blind playthrough of professional difficulty. I'm fucking done.